Hello and welcome to All About Your Benjamins and your weekly mixtape and weekend review for Sunday, January 24th, 2021. Before we get to the headlines this week, I want to give a quick happy birthday to my father. His birthday is tomorrow. I know he and my mother watch, read, listen to everything that I put out, so I know that he'll be seeing this, and just wanted to say a quick happy birthday to Terry Castelli. And if you follow along on the podcast, he's going to be a guest on the new show, The Pursuit, which comes out every Friday. It'll be a shorter podcast, sometimes an interview, sometimes just me, more conversation than really interview. But that will be coming, so pay attention to that. And just wanted to wish him a happy birthday. Okay, so let's get to the headlines that may or may not be impacting your financial plan and portfolio. And before we get to those, I don't know if you've ever noticed the underlying theme that these headlines really don't make any impact to your long-term financial plan and portfolio. Hopefully you're picking up on that over time. But the headlines this week, there's only a few, so you're going to notice just a few articles from the Wall Street Journal, my go-to source for sourcing these headlines, and then a bunch of great posts below in the mixtape. So be sure, as you're done listening to this on the podcast or watching this on YouTube or watching this on All About Your Benjamins, you head over to allaboutyourbenjamins.com. If you're not there, check out all those mixtape blog posts. There's some great ones from some usual suspects, the Morgan Housels, the Michael Batnicks, Josh Browns of the world, but then a lot of great ones that come from great advisors that you may not have heard of, that I want to try to get them some more spotlight and reading their posts, because the more that they see people reading, the more they're going to create, and that's better for all of us. 4 headlines, Wall Street Journal, let's go. First one, obviously the big thing last week was the inauguration. Nothing major to go beyond that other than we had that, and thankfully everything went off without any major disruption, which I know was some of the fear, whether it be in D.C. or Capitol buildings across the country. There were rumors of some things going to go on, but everything went off just fine, and the transition from the Trump presidency to the Biden presidency is complete and went relatively smoothly after a couple weeks ago. That brings up the impeachment process has been slated to begin in February, so that'll be going on. A lot of questions I've seen out there of why would they go through this if Trump is out of office. A number of reasons, and from what I gathered, even the reasons that are being cited may not be fully correct. There's still some ways to get around, but the big thing I've seen is to prevent former President Trump from being able to run for office again. And I don't know above and beyond all of the legalities there. I saw that actually he might be able to. Another reason would be to eliminate the benefits of being in the government, of the pensions and health insurance. So I think those are the 2 main reasons from what I've been able to gather of why the impeachment process goes on when he's no longer in office. So if you're just wondering, those are a couple reasons that I have found. Now, I did not spend hours fact checking it, but I also didn't go off of just one article I found. So a little bit of fact checking, but not spending lots and lots of time on it. Let's get to some economic numbers. A couple things. Unemployment is still kind of where it was the week before, so we won't spend a lot of time there. But we're seeing that the U.S. business is gaining activity. So they use this metric. The magic number you want to know is 50. And the retail side and the service side, we're both above 50. So we're 59 and 57 on those 2 metrics. So we're seeing business activity grow at the beginning of the year. The article also talks about how we're seeing our counterparts over in Europe struggle, and it looks like a recession could be a possibility. So just as long-term, globally diversified portfolios or investors, it's good to pay attention to those things as well, but maybe not necessarily run in and make any major changes to anything. And finally, you probably are aware of this if you have any friends, family, or you yourself have tried to buy or sell a home, but existing home sales reached the highest level in 14 years. Where we live, houses are going quickly. We had a townhome earlier this year that thankfully we were finally able to sell. We got stuck with it after the housing boom way back in the early 2006. So anyways, they're going quick. Prices are going well, so that's a good thing. A lot of people's greatest asset in their overall portfolio is their house. So when housing is doing well, people are feeling better about things. You tie in that they look at their 401k right now, that's looking good as well. The consumer sentiment, I would imagine, unless you are somebody who has been put out of work because of COVID or struggling with a small business, the rest of consumers probably are feeling pretty good. And again, 2020 was the word for me was weird. I think about that gap between not being really impacted financially from COVID, maybe being even a little bit better off, to COVID wrecked your world. That gap is just so wide and so unfair that it's kind of weird to talk about some of these things in that way. But that's where things are right now. So that's it. Again, I mentioned be sure to check out all of the mixtape articles down below. I hope that you enjoyed them. Thanks for always tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, all of those things. Again, every Friday you're going to have a new show on the All About Your Benjamins podcast. So it's not a new podcast if you were to log into the Apple Podcast or Spotify podcast. It is a new show on All About Your Benjamins. So All About Your Benjamins will continue to have a monthly interview with a founder, CEO. There will continue to have these mixtapes on every Sunday. And then every Friday there will be an episode of The Pursuit, which I'm super excited about. So tune into those. Again, like, share. If you have the time, hop on Apple Podcasts, give a whatever star rating you want to give, leave a comment. That would be greatly appreciated. And if there's ever anything you want me to cover, hit me up. Let me know what you want me to talk about or research, and I'll be happy to do it. Have a great day. We'll see you next week.